Let's get out of the hard news realm for a little bit. I know we've got the Tracy Morgan thing coming up in a little while, but I want to go to this Erik clip. Erik, I'm a big Opie and Anthony guy from back in the day. This is interesting. So, Mr. Nagel, I did hear Anthony very recently say he doesn't really have anything against Steel Toe, and, he did a few shows for Compound. He did get one thing wrong. Anthony said Aaron did a few shows for Compound for free. I did 6 episodes of our own show, and we got paid $250 for each one. And then we filled in for Anthony when he was gone 2 or 3 times, and we got paid for those as well. So we did, every time we did something on Compound Media, we got at least $250 for it. I mean, no wonder they went out of business, right? Paying me to do fucking shows? Out of your goddamn mind? No, Erik was very good to us. Erik was very cool, and Compound Media took care of us every time we did a show. And we thank Erik, and we thank Anthony for that. But Erik was on somebody's fucking show. I don't know. Misery Loves Clips clipped it. And he was talking about the Opie and Anthony archives. They were like, where the fuck are the Opie and Anthony archives? Well, apparently, according to Erik Nagel, according to longtime producer Erik, he stole them. And this is some brazen shit for Mr. Rock. Erik just came out on this podcast and goes, yeah, I fucking jacked them from Sirius XM when I left. And then he filled their hard drives with dummy files. That wasn't the Opie and Anthony shit. This is pretty wild. Let me play this for you. Erik basically admitting to theft from Sirius XM. You know what the great part about this is? Even if SiriusXM wanted to do something about this, they couldn't because A, they have no interest in playing the O&A archives, and B, that company is circling the drain. I mean, you've got ad revenue just fell off a fucking cliff. Subscriber base keeps going down. They can't make a dime. It's tough sledding. I mean, satellite radio is more obsolete than terrestrial radio. At this point, terrestrial radio will still be around long after satellite's dead because it's coming quick. This is Erik Nagel, excuse me, talking about how he just straight up stole the Opie and Anthony archives from SiriusXM. And if I may go on record, I didn't think the guy had it in him. He's a sweet guy. He doesn't seem like the type who would just steal from the company like the drunk who gets laid off as a forklift driver and takes a shitload of bricks home with him.
That wanted to use a clip of O&A in the movie. Sony reached out to me and said, hey, we were told you have the stuff here. What do we have to do to get permission for this stuff? So I said, well, I have this stuff, but I got to see about as far as the Sirius XM stuff goes. Oh, well, they claim they don't own it. What do you mean? So Sony's now telling me that they went to Sirius. Sirius says they don't have it. They don't own it. They want nothing to do with it. Can you send me that correspondence? They sent me those emails. I contact an entertainment lawyer. I go,
that's interesting that Sirius XM, boy, they must have really fucking hated those guys. And I guess maybe Anthony's firing made him bitter, or maybe they didn't want him. Maybe they inherited him with XM and maybe they were redheaded stepchildren. They never liked him, but SiriusXM didn't want anything to do with the clips. I mean, they could have used them. It would have been free to have an Opie and Anthony channel. You could have thrown, would you even have to throw those guys any money? I mean, if there was nothing in their contract about owning their archives, then SiriusXM could have done an Opie and Anthony channel for a few years after they were gone and just played the hits. Wouldn't have cost you anything. You could have just put it on the channel. I think Opie and Anthony archives would have been better than the Opie and Jim show that they put on. But Erik finds out that's also got to be a little bit of an ego hit that SiriusXM is like, yeah, we won't even play you fucking guys for free. We don't want you. I don't think it's good judgment. But then again, we're talking about SiriusXM, the radio company that still thinks Howard Stern's going to pull them out of irrelevance.
Here's the thing. Well, who has them? Me. They don't have anything? No. How do you know they don't have anything? Because I didn't give it to them. When I left, the hard drives and stuff they thought that they had with all the material were dummy files. And they were all labeled, but they were.
Should you really look? And I understand the irony of me giving someone advice on what you should do publicly on the internet, of what you should divulge on a show. Believe me, I understand the humor of it. But I know that Sirius doesn't care about the Opie and Anthony archives. I know they don't give a shit about the Opie and Anthony archives. But shouldn't you wait till they're all the way in the ground, until they're all the way dead as a company, before you go, oh, by the way, retroactively, I'd just like to admit when I left there, I stole all their files? I really don't know if that's the way you want to go. All right, you know what? Cool. Let's be honest. Nothing's going to happen. He'll be fine.
There was nothing on them.
Wow.
So they took the stuff. There's nothing there. They had nothing. And I blew everything out of the computers. It's all sitting on hard drives in air sealed containers at my place. I have all of it. Right?
Wow.
Good for Erik, man. Good for Erik, just dropping the bomb. Just throwing it out there and going, oh yeah, by the way, I stole all of them. I wiped all of their files. I gutted it, and I left dummy drives on their computers. Kind of sad though that because you kind of want SiriusXM to figure it out at some point. Like they go and look, like when Obadiah Stane goes to look at his computer and he sees that Pepper Potts has uploaded all the Tony Stark kidnapping files, and he loses his shit. SiriusXM didn't even bother to check if the O&A stuff was there. So for all intents and purposes, SiriusXM just was going to let the Opie and Anthony stuff rot. So I guess just tell him you stole it. I just really don't. Can you just say that? Can you just say that I stole it? JH says Opie and Anthony. What the fuck did I get in trouble? JH says Opie and Anthony were way better than Howard Stern. Look, man, I'm an Opie and Anthony fan, but look, prime Howard Stern, shut the fuck up. Prime Howard Stern was a great show. Were Opie and Anthony funnier individuals than Howard Stern? I'll go with yeah. But the Howard Stern show was incomparable in its prime. And I'm talking Artie, back to the Jackie days, even Billy West. I mean, that show was one of a kind. NoPen15 Fathead with $2 says, you didn't realize he was on Chrissy Mayr's show? No, I had no idea. Chrissy's got weird numbers, by the way. Have you ever noticed that Chrissy has like a shitload of subscribers, but like our view count is essentially the same? Like some of our live streams do way better than hers, and then she'll grab onto some conservative topic or grab onto some conservative guest, and then she'll have one video that kind of goes bigger than the others. And then the rest will be like anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 people, but she's got like 100,000 subscribers. That's weird to me. That doesn't wash. Like there's some channels too. And some of them are channels that all they do is follow Steel Toe. And you'll see their live numbers are actually worse than our live numbers. But after the live thing, a few hours after they go live, their total views will shoot up like 10,000 viewers. And you're like, that's paid for. Because when you do streaming, you know how many people watching live and roughly what that translates to in views. And if that doesn't match up, they're buying views. 100%. Her channel is cooked, says Sam Show. What does that mean that's cooked? Like I don't know. I think what it could be is that maybe like she had guests on that people really liked. So the people who were fans of that guest liked her channel, but then never watched it again. I don't think it necessarily means she buys subscriptions. What's going on? Clapogram says, what's going on with Justice John Roberts? He's in Trump's bad books now. Hey, go back and look at the history. John Roberts has gone against Donald Trump quite a few times. This is not new. John Roberts ruling against Dandy Don. He was the guy who kept Obamacare alive. They didn't like that about him. He gave Obamacare the thumbs up when a lot of people thought it should be unconstitutional to mandate Americans to buy something. He said, nope, that was okay. And it was really strange, the the rationale that John Roberts gave as to why mandating the mandate in Obamacare that Americans had to buy health insurance if they're over 26, he said it was under taxation. It was about taxation, so it was okay. And I'm like, I don't really think that's how it works, but that's how they snuck it under the wire.